hockey mom.
Good evening from New York. The coroner's office tonight says the preliminary autopsy on Michael Jackson produced no evidence of foul play, nor would it have produced data about quantities of drugs in his system. That report will be weeks hence. Thus, there is no criminal investigation underway, but in our fifth story on the countdown, one news report has Jackson, quote, highly addicted to one painkiller, OxyContin. Another says he was being given daily doses of injections of another painkiller, Demerol, by a live-in doctor. A third says that doctor gave him one of those injections an hour before Michael Jackson suffered massive cardiac failure yesterday. The spokesman of the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office, Chief Investigator Craig Harvey, saying this afternoon that determining the cause of Jackson's death will require the further tests. They will take 4 to 6 weeks, but that Jackson's body is now ready for release to his family.
There was no indication of any external trauma or any indication of foul play on the body of Mr. Jackson, and the Los Angeles Police Department has requested that a security hold be placed on the investigation of Mr. Jackson, so there's a extremely limited amount of information that we will be able to discuss about the case.
But the reporting, disturbing in its specificity, began almost immediately. And though Jackson was officially pronounced dead yesterday afternoon, 2:26 p.m. Pacific time at UCLA Medical Center, medics wanted to pronounce him dead on the scene at his rented home off Sunset Boulevard. That according to TMZ. They wanted to call the coroner to pick up his body then. But according to TMZ, Jackson's doctor demanded that medics continue CPR and take him to the hospital. More on that doctor presently. The 911 call indicates that some doctor had already been performing CPR before the medics arrived.
And what's the problem exactly what happened?
Sir, we have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we're trying to pump him, but he's not breathing, sir.
Okay, how old is he?
He's 50 years old, sir.
Okay, and he's not conscious either.
He's not conscious, sir.
Okay. All right. Do you have him? Is he on the floor? Where's he at right now?
He's on the bed, sir. He's on the bed.
Okay, let's get him on the floor. We're already on our way. Did anybody see him?
Yes, we have a personal doctor here with him, sir.
Oh, you have a doctor there?
Yes, but he's not responding to anything. No, he's not responding to CPR or anything, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, we're on our way there.
Okay.
Did anybody witness what happened?
No, just the doctor, sir. The doctor's been the only one here. Thank you, sir. He's pumping his chest, but he's not responding to anything, sir. Please.
Michael Jackson's personal physician, the man who was reportedly with him at his home, has now been identified as Dr. Conrad Robert Murray, a Las Vegas cardiologist, board certified in internal medicine, in practice for 20 years. NBC News confirmed that the Los Angeles Police Department had been looking for the doctor, had impounded his car last night, thinking it might contain medications that might assist the coroner's office in its investigation. Police spoke briefly with Dr. Murray, but wished to interview him further, which brings us to the part of the narrative that, while still not fully verified, might jibe with the deepest fears expressed about Jackson in recent years and again last night. What we know for certain is that Jackson had been rehearsing regularly at the Staples Center in Los Angeles for a 50-concert series in London scheduled to begin July 13. By some accounts, Jackson had arrived home from rehearsal just after midnight Thursday morning, complained he was not feeling well, and his doctor, ostensibly Dr. Murray, was summoned. The LAPD was told that Jackson received an injection of Demerol 1 hour before his death. That according to ABC News. A senior law enforcement official also telling that network that Jackson was heavily addicted to the painkiller OxyContin and that those Demerol shots were a daily occurrence. A close Jackson family member telling TMZ that yesterday's dosage at 11:30 a.m. local time was too much and that his breathing slowed until it stopped. As described to me by a Jackson family acquaintance and attorney, Brian Oxman, this was sadly predictable.
I do know that I had warned of the use of prescription medications in the past. And I have said to many members of the family that if one day Michael wound up in this condition, the words exactly, or as if he woke up dead one day, that I was going to speak loud and clear about what I saw as the abuse of medications and people who had enabled him. This is something which we all feared in this family, and here we are.
Let's turn to Los Angeles Times reporter Andrew Blankstein, who joins us now from their newsroom. Thank you for your time tonight, sir.
Thank you. Good evening.
Can you clarify for us where things stand right now between the police and this doctor?
Well, the Los Angeles Police Department told me as recently as about an hour ago that they're still trying to sort out the issues with regard to which drugs may or may not have been administered in the time leading up to his death. I mean, one of the things that, as your report pointed out, this morning the reports were Demerol, then we get this subsequent report about OxyContin. There's a lot of contradictions, and the investigators are saying, look, there's a lot of issues that they have to sort out, including what medication he might have been on.
Who is this doctor? Do we know much about him and how he wound up in Michael Jackson's home and administering whatever he was administering to him, if there was indeed any regular painkiller or anything, if he was giving him aspirin? How did he wind up in the man's home?
Well, one of the things that we reported is that he was hired by the company that was doing the concert promotion, and so he was attending to Mr. Jackson, and at this point, beyond kind of those kind of broad issues, we're not sure exactly how long he was with him the night before he died.
They've said, obviously, no murder investigation. Coroner's office said this afternoon no foul play. Are the police out of this necessarily?
No, I mean, they'll be in it for a while, and certainly now that they've said that the toxicology report is 4 to 6 weeks away, one of the things that they want to sort out is all the circumstances leading up to this. One of the other things that's kind of underplayed is that his physical condition, obviously he was preparing for a grueling set of dates in London, and he's 50 years old. I mean, it's a different thing from being in your 20s and 30s, and together with prescription medications that the coroner's office said he was taking, it could have all come together to contribute to this.
I know anybody who's seen 10 minutes of television coverage in the last 2 days has probably seen that Brian Oxman. And I mean, in terms of interviews, he's just this side of stopping passersby on the street to tell his story. But do you know, relative to the family, is there validity to his message? Were he and others desperately warning of this kind of outcome? Is the family pressing to have that point followed up?
Well, I think in the past people have raised issues about prescription drugs that Mr. Jackson may have used. But in the context of this case, there's still a lot we don't know, and the police have made it pretty clear that there's a lot of information that's coming outside of their investigation, and certainly in the coming days and weeks we'll know a lot more. And it's one of the things where I think one of the most important aspects of this investigation is what was he given in those fateful hours leading up to the death.
Last point, we've heard a lot from people who knew him a long time or a long time ago. Have we heard a lot from people who have been around him in the last few days or few weeks?
Not a whole lot, and I think that's another aspect of the story that the police are going to be looking at very carefully. I mean, they really, part of the investigation, and it is not a criminal investigation at this point, it's merely a preliminary investigation into the circumstances of his death. But one of the things they want to do is cast a wide net and interview as many people who might have been with him up till that point.
Andrew Blankstein of the Los Angeles Times, great thanks for your time and for the perspective this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.